So this is the 10th year that we've had the AESIN conference. I think we missed one because of COVID, didn't we, Paul? I think there was one that we missed because of COVID. So this is the 9th event that we've done in our 10 years of looking after the automotive electronics. And a number of the speakers have commented today how much the industry has changed. I mean, just in the time that we've been doing this conference, it's changed beyond recognition. And I think most of you know that I spent most of my career in the automotive industry. I spent the first half of my career at Ford Motor Company, and latterly I was the engineering director at Visteon. And I've never seen so much change in the industry over the last 5 years as I saw in the whole of my career. So we certainly have a lot of challenges in front of us, but what we wanted to do today was, as the theme says, champion the champions. At the end of the day, it's you guys in this room that are going to make the difference to the automotive industry in the UK. And we've done the 2 tracks today, so we've tried to encompass kind of what's going on at a detail level and representing the companies that we have in the automotive industry through the session that was in here. And then we've got our new group, TechNest, which was looking under the hood. So we're trying to get a bit more detail into some of the technologies that are going to be in. I was sitting in there earlier listening to the presentation on CAN. I mean, CAN for me was my bread and butter for 30 odd years, and seeing the challenges that we're now facing, that CAN is no longer really fit for purpose, is quite a challenge to the automotive industry. So that's just one example of where we're seeing fundamental changes. We're seeing some fantastic new technologies. I mean, Jim presented earlier the unified technology and some of the new ways that we're going to be using just base materials to do some of the touch technologies. So the whole purpose of this event really is to showcase the capability that we have in the UK and the opportunities that we face in front of us. And what we're trying to do within Techworks is we're not an events company. So, you know, you come along to these events and they're really well put on, and I thank my whole team for putting it on because they do a great job. But we're not an events company. We're a company that's trying to bring together people to work together collaborative. We're a collaborative networking organisation. So what we're about is bringing together companies like yourselves, bringing organisations and individuals like you to work together so that we can actually make some advances in terms of what this country is trying to do. Now, we try to influence government. We're really struggling at the moment. I was talking to Neil Dickens earlier. He said, what's one of your biggest challenges? I said, trying to pin down somebody in government to talk to. Because I asked Grant Shapps to come today to open the event for us today. And he came back and said, I'd love to be there, but unfortunately I don't know if I'm even going to have a job on Monday. So at the moment, we're really struggling to pin down our ministers, to pin down the different government organisations. So that's one thing we are desperately trying to do, is trying to get some traction behind the technology that needs to be supported in the UK and to showcase the capability that we have. And so today is a great example of how we can showcase, you know, what we're doing in the automotive sector, what we're doing particularly in automotive electronics, and what the capability is and how we can move that forward. We do have some other sister organisations. Some of you will know me because I was the chairman of AESIN for 6 years or so. But since I've been the chief executive of Techworks, I've got to understand a lot more of the technology and the broader technologies that we have in the UK. And John looks after our IoTSF group. So John's really trying to understand, you know, what the challenges are with connecting IoT devices and the security challenges that are faced there. So there's an awful lot of work going on around that section with John. But it's starting to spill into other areas. We've talked quite a lot today about the challenges of cybersecurity. And the CyberHive presentation we saw just a little while ago, that was absolutely fascinating about the challenge that new technology is going to bring in terms of the way that the threats that will also come across. So we're seeing a convergence. And all of this is underpinned by semiconductors. You will all probably know that Techworks grew out of the NMI organisation. And NMI is still very active, but it's very much focusing on the semiconductor industry. You'll all know about the shortages in semiconductors. I'm not going to talk about that. You'll also know about some of the challenges in the supply chain that we're facing generally, and where the automotive industry sits because the volumes are not as high as some of consumer electronics. So we're trying to get the government to understand what the opportunities are. There's also global events going on. I mean, I'm sure you're all aware of the situation in Taiwan, between China and Taiwan, and there is a threat to TSMC potentially, and we know that could end up being an issue for the supply chain. So the whole underpinning electronics, the underpinning semiconductors is all part of what's going on, and it's all spilling over into what we're doing. So the purpose was to say, welcome, I hope you all have a great day. So I shall say thank you for coming, and I hope you all had a great day. Thank you.